family, welcome to this journal today, and we are here today to talk about some of the skills which, as an accountant, you should need to master. Why most people say that there is no work, there is no job for accountants, there is no work for accountants. The first question to which we need to ask ourselves is, how many companies do we have in Kenya? And apart from the industries and the companies we have in Kenya, how many companies do we have worldwide? And how many accountants do we have? So the equation is almost the same, but now when it comes to the skills, is that where we find that we lack jobs. We lack jobs. If I give you a small research, you go and do a statistic, maybe just around the CBD in your county, in your country, in your city, how many shops are there? But which initiative have you taken as an accountant to go and create an opportunity for yourself there? You just need to wait, like you just need to wait, like for Gilsam Consulting Limited to post a job for you to apply as an accountant. And that's why we are lacking some of the opportunities. No, at this era, you need to wake up and create an opportunity for yourself. But you cannot create an opportunity for yourself if you lack some of the skills. The first skill is, maybe you passed exam. I don't disregard your academic qualification or your professional qualification, but you just passed an exam, you didn't retain the knowledge. What do I mean? You didn't retain the accounting principle, you didn't retain the tax principle. And that is the key. Before even we look at some of the experience which we need to gain from the industry, the first question we ask ourselves is, did we retain the knowledge of the accounting principle? For if I ask you a good questions like, what is the definition of tax? You can't even define the tax. What is tax? And that's where we went wrong. We ignore the major principles which he had to retain. We go ahead and try to pass exam, which we did. Yes, we passed exam, but we didn't retain the knowledge. Why am I saying this? I've trained most of the accountants and they don't understand what is debit and credit. A good example, if I hire you as an accountant, and then in the morning, maybe I'm going to certain meeting, and then without even asking you for any petty cash or anything else, I just take my phone, go to the online banking of the company, and then after I went to the online banking of the company, I took maybe 100 shilling for transport. But at the end of every month, you remember, you as an accountant, you will be the one taking that statement to do bank reconciliation. Now you don't know where to post these 100 shilling I took as a transport, and you will realize this amount will be put in a suspense account because you lack what? Accounting principle. You lack accounting principle. So that's where you need to start mold yourself. Yes, you have the certificate. That is well and good. Nobody will come and question you all about the certificate. But what you need to ask yourself is to go back, either YouTube channels, go back to online platform, and try to learn that one step by step, because no one is now pressurizing you to learn that. Now you learn it with a specific purpose. So once you have this, that once you have retained these accounting principles, the next thing is learn. Now come now to the field of experience. Gained experience. How do you gain experience? Most of my experience I gained from taxation, like 10% is from the working from a specific company. Like today for this period, up to this period, I'm working for this company. No. So the best way to create to gain experience is you start creating your own consultancy company. That's the first step, and you will have like what do we call it? Like you will be around up person to in terms of experience. If you create your own consultancy company, start doing the marketing. Today, you will get a client. This client want you to file for the VAT. You have never been in the field of practical aspect. You don't know how to file the VAT. How will you handle this case? And that's how I started this field of accounting. How do you handle? Tell that client, yes, I know how to file. And back in your mind, you are good in principles of VAT. They will ask you, what is the limit for person to file the VAT? You need to know. What is the deadline? You need to know. What are the requirements for someone to file for the VAT? You need to know. So theory aspect, that's why I told you, you need to retain that knowledge first, so that if they can call you, you can easily explain to them. Now it is time now to take this job. They have given you the job for filing the VAT, but you don't know. So what do you do? Took all the file from their office, come prepare an Excel sheet. If you don't know, take your phone, call someone who knows. Like you can call me, my contact is there. We have other people online, the consultants who does the consultants online, their contacts are there. Just need to call. I'm filing for this VAT, but I'm stuck here. Can you assist me prepare this and this? They will guide you. So you get one guidance from one person, and then you call another person. Also, ask for the help. If you don't want to ask for the help, discuss with this person. How? You will say, I've gotten a new client here, and this client is for the filing for the VAT. I don't know how to file for the VAT. Can you file as I watch, and we have a revenue sharing? So you will just take the 50%, and then for me, because I was the one sourcing for this client, I will also take 50%, 50%. So you can do it for the 2 times. The third time, now you will know the process. So you can now do it on your own. And that is the best way to learn. That's why we say it, you don't learn to swim by just reading about water. You need to swim so that you know how to swim. And that is the best way to acquire this experience. So that is the first approach of acquiring this experience. Once you have retained the knowledge, let's not tusipoteze track mali tumetoka. Tumesema ya kwanza ni kufanya ni kusoma na kuretain hiyo knowledge, and then the next step ni how to get the experience. And we have seen the first analogy of getting an experience is to get the client, get someone who know how to file, start learning from that person, and then as you learn, you will also need, you will, at the end of it, you will be able to handle it on yourself. The next step, or the second method of gaining this experience, is to do the voluntary. You just need to volunteer and go to any audit firm. You can even do a voluntary job like 3 months. Don't do for 1 year, because you also have some expenditure to pay. So you don't need to provide free service for something that you don't get paid. So what you need to do is have a voluntary job, like more, maybe even just for 3 months is enough. Yes. So you, and don't go direct to the voluntary job for audit. Audits just come at the end. So just get any company which can give you an opportunity to learn how to do filing of tax. That is the key. So you need to get any company who can be able to give you an opportunity to learn how to file statutory deductions. So once you understand how to file NSSF, SHA, housing levy, payee, that one just for the 3 months. 3 months, if you go there for 3 months, you will file that statutory deduction 3 times. So with that 3 times, you have already gained an experience on how to file it. Not only how to file, but how to approach it. Because you can't just wake up and say, today we are filing this, today we have, no, there is some, if you go to this company, there's some procedures which you have to follow. If you go to this company, there's some procedures which you have to follow. So that's what we call the internal control system. So you, at the end of the day, you will you will have an experience on how to file. You will have the experience on the internal control system of the company, how to arrange the files, how to approach the directors when it comes to the deadline of payment, and after payment and after filing, how do we file these records, or how do we keep these records? So you can see you are gaining a lot of experience with just within one period. So once you learned this, that is that is the second method of gaining experience. Another method is, now you can look for a job. Look for a job, and what I can advise you is that if you are starting from the scratch, the best way is to don't go to look for a job for a startup companies. The reason why I'm saying that, don't go and look for the job for a startup company, even me, I started there. That person or the owner of the company will not trust you with their books of account because you lack experience. So he will not give you even the checkbook. He will not give you the checkbook. So even you will find that most accountants, they have done to be an accountant for more than 10 days, but even they don't know how to write the check. They don't know even what is color of the check. And I'm talking from the experience perspective. I've worked in a company for more than 1 year. I didn't even see even a checkbook because I was still fresh from the college. So that person was not trusting me in handling this experience. So like in that entire period, I didn't learn anything because I was just handling the petty cash. Someone will give you a petty cash or money in M-Pesa, and then they will ask you midnight, anytime, just pay this person, that just pay this person. So at the end, no any internal control procedures you are going to learn, or there is no accounting procedure you are going to learn. So if you go to a startup company, you will just be administrator. Your work is to print this thing, to take there, to file there, right? Go and bring this, go take this to this office. So like you will not learn everything. So the best way is to go to a big company, and a company which they have their internal control system in place. They have their finance department, they have their sales department, they have their procurement department. So if you go to this company, you will learn a lot. You will learn a lot. So you give yourself like 3 years. So don't rush again. Do that job for 3 years. So if you do that job for 3 years, then you will learn a lot. And if this company has given you only job for specialization, because what I realize, mtu unaandikwa kuwe accountant, but unajipata umefanya hiyo kazi for 3 years. So unafanya receivables for 3 years. So ukifanya receivable for 3 years, haujui kutengeneza payroll. That is another challenge. So make sure that again, if you have been given the job, that job has it has a rotation policy. You do this for 1 year, go for 1 year, another department, go for another department. But most companies, they don't like that. They want to, if you are receivable, just be there for receivable. If you are payable, you are there for payable. So I could like you to get a company which you can do all the duties of an accountant. You can be You can be passing the channel entry in the system, can be filing the returns, can be paying the suppliers, paying the withholding tax, paying other tax, so that you can at least learn all these things. But if you go to a company where you will only specify for the payable, then where will you get all this experience? So that's how you need to develop these skills as an accountant. You need to mold yourself step by step. I don't say that you go rush and take all this. No, it is a learning process. You cannot acquire it within shorter period. So you need to plan yourself also, so that because most of the challenge is that you finish this accounting course and then to go and do something totally different. So you will find that someone has all these qualification but is doing something which is totally different. It is not related. So you make sure that you are doing something which is related. I understand, we have bills to pay, we have expense to cover for, but at the end of it, try to do something which is related. Sales is not bad, procurement is not bad, it is also related. But even if you are doing any other business, try to make sure that you are learning these skills. Get 3 or 4 clients which you will be doing for them to retain that knowledge or to practice that accounting knowledge, so that you don't be fully totally out of the industry, right? Now that was just an overview or how to present yourself. Now let's now go back to the topic which we were to discuss today about the payroll. The payroll. How do we prepare the payroll, or how do we manage the payroll in a company? Payroll is a connection between the HR and the accounting department.